Getting rid of love handles can seem tough, but it's actually quite simple once you know the right steps. You don't need to starve yourself or follow extreme diets. Using the latest science, I'll show you 5 easy steps that will help you get rid of love handles and keep them off for good. But first, let's understand how love handles develop in the first place. Hello friends, welcome to DN Fit. Love handles form from overeating, not from one night of indulgence, but from months or even years of consuming more calories than your body needs. Our bodies tend to store excess calories as fat around the abdomen, which is especially common for men and postmenopausal women. The frustrating part is that the areas where fat is stored first, like the belly, lower back, and love handles, are often the last places to lose fat. This slow buildup happens over time, making it seem almost impossible to lose once it's there. But don't worry, love handles are just like any other fat. With the right approach, they will eventually go away. The most important step to losing love handles is nutrition. You've probably heard that you need to be in a calorie deficit to lose fat. While this is true, a calorie deficit alone won't target your love handles immediately. Your body will first lose fat from areas like your face, shoulders, chest, and arms before it starts to lose fat from stubborn areas like your love handles. One of our Build with Science members, Archie, is a perfect example of how this process works. In the first few months, although his belly and love handles didn't change much, you could see improvements in his face, chest, shoulders, and upper stomach. It wasn't until later that he started to see progress in his love handles. He simply had to keep going until they eventually came off. This is why it's important to use a calorie deficit that isn't too aggressive, something you can stick to consistently month after month without feeling drained. Many people try to rush the process, and while they may see some initial results, they can't stick to their diet long enough to lose their love handles. As soon as they stop, they often gain the weight back. For most people, a good target is to aim to lose about a pound of fat per week. This means eating around 500 calories less than your body burns each day. However, don't be afraid to take it even slower if needed. In fact, if you calculate your daily calorie intake, and it will tell you roughly how many calories you should eat to lose fat. It will also give you a slower, more manageable option that might be easier to follow. The next steps I'm about to show you can definitely speed up the process of losing your love handles. Remember, you're not in a rush. It took years for your love handles to build up, so don't expect to lose them overnight. The next 2 steps cover the exercises you should be doing. First up is lifting weights. While this won't directly help you get rid of your love handles, it will help indirectly in several ways. First, increasing the size of your upper back and shoulder muscles can create the illusion of a smaller waist and less noticeable love handles. Second, if you don't lift weights while in a calorie deficit, more of the weight you lose will be from muscle rather than fat. Losing muscle can negatively impact your metabolism and increase the likelihood of regaining fat after your diet. Think of lifting weights as a way to improve your overall appearance after losing fat and as a safeguard to prevent fat regain in the future. However, if your main goal right now is to lose your love handles, you don't need an excessive amount of work or volume. Studies have shown that as little as 3 to 6 hard sets per muscle per week are likely all you need to maintain your muscle, with older individuals likely needing the top end of that range. So, one strategy, especially if you struggle with consistency, is to reduce the frequency of your weightlifting sessions. Instead of lifting weights 5 to 6 times per week, consider bringing it down to 4 or even just 3 times a week. You can also reduce the overall number of sets and exercises you perform. Use that freed up time and energy for the next step. Alright, let's move on to step 3. While lifting weights is fantastic for building muscle, it's not the most efficient way to burn calories. On average, weightlifting burns about 1.7 calories per minute for women and around 3 calories per minute for men, which amounts to roughly 70 to 200 calories burned in an hour-long workout. Although this can be higher for bigger, stronger individuals, it's still not very efficient for calorie burning. In contrast, activities like jogging or cycling burn about 10 to 20 calories per minute, depending on your weight. This means you could burn the same number of calories from an hour-long weightlifting session in just 10 to 15 minutes of moderate intensity cardio. The importance of this ties back to creating a calorie deficit. While you should primarily create a deficit through your diet, you should also aim to increase the calories you burn through exercise. Some of this will come from lifting weights, but most should come from cardio. Now, I know the thought of cardio might be daunting, but it doesn't have to be grueling or involve long-running sessions. You don't need to do crazy amounts of cardio either. I'll show you an easy yet effective weekly cardio routine to get started with. But first, let me explain why most people need it. Some individuals can get really lean and lose their love handles without any cardio at all. But these are typically people who are already very active and on their feet all day. If you use Calorie Calculator, you'll notice a significant difference, almost 700 calories, in daily calories burned between someone who sits all day and someone with a very active job. Unless you have an active job or lifestyle, you'll need to eat quite a low amount of calories to lose fat without cardio. This amount will only get lower as you get closer to losing your love handles. Plus, cardio has a unique benefit. It helps reduce visceral fat, the deep, dangerous fat in your belly, which is great for your health and might make a small difference in losing love handles by reducing the overall size of your belly. It's important to do the right type and amount of cardio. Like your diet, you need something you can stick to week after week. I recommend starting with walking. Track how many steps a day you currently take and aim to increase that by 2,000 steps a day. Once you can do that, bump it up a little more until you reach around 8,000 to 10,000 steps a day. That alone will make a significant difference in your daily calorie burn and might be all you need. In addition to walking, consider adding some low to moderate intensity cardio to your routine, but only do what you enjoy and can stick to consistently. If you hate running and won't stick to it, then don't run. One of our known member struggled with his love handles, but started seeing progress after simply adding 20 to 30 minutes of incline walking after each workout and taking longer walks with his dog. Try activities like cycling, swimming, incline walking, or playing sports. Anything that gets you moving counts. Start with 15 to 20 minutes, 2 to 3 times a week, and adjust from there. Now, the plan I've given you so far will work wonders if you stick to it, but at some point, you might get stuck. As you lose weight, your body burns fewer calories. This is partly due to carrying less mass and partly due to subconsciously moving less to preserve fat stores. Research has shown that a 10% drop in body weight is typically accompanied by a 20 to 25% decrease in 24-hour energy expenditure. While being consistent with your steps and activity from step 3 can help prevent this, you might reach a point where what used to work no longer does. You can tell if you've reached this point if you haven't noticed any fat loss or a drop in body weight for at least 2 to 3 weeks. When this happens, it's important not to make drastic changes. Generally, you have 2 options. Adjust your calorie intake. Slightly reduce your daily calorie intake to continue creating a calorie deficit. Increase your activity level, add more cardio, or increase the intensity of your current workouts. By making small, manageable adjustments, you can continue making progress without feeling overwhelmed. Option 1 is to reduce your calorie intake. This is a good choice if you're already quite active and feel that eating just a little less each day wouldn't be hard to stick to. Typically, a decrease of about 100 calories per day is all that's needed. Option 2 is to increase your activity level and the average calories you burn every day. Again, only a small change is needed. This could be as simple as bumping up your daily steps or adding another 20 to 30 minutes of low to moderate intensity cardio to your weekly routine. If you stay consistent with everything I've shown you so far, I guarantee you'll lose your love handles. However, the last step is to consider whether or not it's even worth it. To completely lose your love handles, you have to get very lean, a level of leanness that for most people, including myself, is very difficult to sustain. Many people fall into the trap of becoming so obsessed with losing their love handles that they overlook all the progress they've made elsewhere and don't realize how great they already look. To achieve this, they would have to continue pushing and dieting to a point where it might not be sustainable. Believe me, we all want to look like the shredded guys on social media, but most of them have incredible genetics, often aren't natural, and don't share how difficult it is to maintain that shape and how low energy they feel day to day. So don't worry if you still have a little bit of love handles or lower belly fat. Embrace all the progress you've already made, take breaks, and maintain what you need to. The extra push just might not be worth the trade-off. Thanks for watching.